Hello and welcome back to Mr. Mayor's Book Chats. We are in the midst of Read Across America Week, so I want to thank you for all the reading that you've done and dressing up throughout the week. If you haven't been down to the library, you can check out some of the teachers have some recommendations for you. So you can see Mrs. Myers and Mrs. Kreinberg, Mrs. Pontius, and several other teachers have sent in some recommendations for some books that you might be interested in. These are books that maybe they've read recently, maybe they've enjoyed teaching over the years, or maybe they just recommend them because they know that so many students have loved them throughout the years. So come check that out. I've also got 5 new books down here that I want to talk to you about. The first one is a historical fiction book, but it is told in verse. It's called Lifeboat 12. And it's about this little-known World War II disaster. So it's based on true events. It takes place with Nazis bombing London every night. And with that happening, it's time for 13-year-old Ken to escape. And his mom and dad send him on this ship, the SS City of Benares, to travel safely to Canada. And hopefully when he gets there, he'll stay there and then eventually get reunited with his family. So he boards the ship, and after 5 days at sea, the ship's officers come over the loudspeaker and announce that they are finally out of danger, and it's safe to kind of walk around a little bit more. But the captains are wrong, because late that night, an explosion hurls Ken from his bunk because they've been hit. They've been torpedoed, and the Benares is sinking fast. Terrified, Ken scrambles aboard Lifeboat 12 with 5 other boys, and that kind of begins the story of Lifeboat 12. It's a survival story. It's a story of courage and hope and compassion. And it was done with a huge amount of research. You'll see pictures and quotations and source material from the author to put this incredible story about Ken Sparks together. The next book is another historical fiction. It takes place in England in 1940. With Barney and his mom traveling to the countryside. They lived in England, and again, with the bombing, they are fleeing the country. And they're going through a tunnel when German planes attack. And the train is forced to take shelter in this tunnel. And there in the darkness, a stranger, a fellow passenger, begins to tell them a story about kind of his life and how he was in World War I. And he thinks that World War II is a little bit his fault. Is it because he starts to tell this story about 2 soldiers, one British soldier and one German soldier in World War I. And he says both lived, but the British soldier, him, is haunted by the encounter that he had during World War I. He had a chance. He came across this German soldier and had a chance to kill this German soldier, but decided that he didn't have it in himself to pull the trigger. And it turns out that German soldier was Adolf Hitler. So he is living with this guilt that he could have killed Adolf Hitler and history might have been changed forever. So it's a story about this soldier dealing with the question, did he do the right thing by not killing, an unarmed soldier, and what would have happened? It's a very short book, but it raises a lot of great questions. Next book, Spaced Out. If you enjoyed Space Case, the Rebecca Caudle book, this is the sequel. So Dash, he's already solved the one mystery on Moonbase Alpha, and they're just chilling out on the moon until one day Nina Stack, the base's commander, goes missing without a trace. And so, of course, Dash was the last person to see Nina, and he has to come up and solve the case. Again, just like the first one, there's lots of humor in this. Dash is just a funny character. So if you like mystery, if you like humor, and if you like Space Case, check this one out. The next 2 books are a little bit more, I guess they deal with a little bit more mature kind of subject matter. This one is called Calling My Name. And it's about a girl. When we first meet Taja, she is 11 years old. And this whole book it takes us all the way through her senior year of high school. She's just dealing with kind of questions that she has about religion and about grappling with questions that tweens and teens have. Um, it says family, sisters, friends, enemies, neighbors, school, church, first love, expectations, betrayal, hopes, dreams. Who do you listen to? How do you get through these things? And this book is told in 53 short chapters, so it kind of moves it along quite a bit. But again, this is more in the young adult section of reading. If you have read Stupid Fast, I know there's some of you who have read the Stupid Fast series and loved it. This is called Roadtripped. It's by the same author, Pete Hautman. And again, this is a little bit more young adult, but it's about Stiggy, who has lots of questions about why his girlfriend dumped him. His father committed suicide a year before, and he's still grappling with that. And he's not finding any answers in his little Minnesota town. And wanting to think about other things, or better yet, not think at all, he decides that he is going to take his father's Mustang, which he isn't supposed to drive, and steal his mom's Visa card. And he's got $407 in cash, and he has no idea where he's going to go, but he just decides he has to just get lost and go and explore this new territory and explore the Midwest. Again, funny book like Stupid Fast. If you like that one, try Roadtripped. And the last one, real quick, if you like scary books, R.L. Stine has this Scream and Scream Again. It is 20 short, scary stories that will frighten you and give you nightmares. As always, come see me in the library. Thanks.